Welcome back to Unscripted and Unstoppable, the podcast for women over 50 who are ready to embrace their next chapter with confidence and connection. I'm your host, Lorene Quick, and today we're diving into a topic that so very many of us struggle with, and that is self-care. If you've spent years putting everyone else first, it's time now to turn that around and start caring for yourself and giving back to yourself the love and attention that you most certainly deserve. And to help us do just that, I am joined today by Shayna Melissa Stockman, world wellness expert and best-selling author. Shayna knows firsthand the power of self-care and why it's essential, not optional, especially for women 50, 60, 70, and 80 and older. In this episode, we are going to talk about why self-care isn't selfish, how you can help reclaim your energy and your joy, and use simple ways to start putting yourself first without guilt or overwhelm. So grab a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. Shayna, welcome. I am so excited to have you here. And I wanted to first off start off by asking, why do you believe self-care is especially important for women over 50?
Ooh, well, first, thank you for having me and for that beautiful introduction. Self-care is so important, especially for the ladies over 50, because we already missed half our life go by, right? And we only have pretty much half left. And do you want to wait until the very last years where you're mentally or physically not even capable anymore? So many of us keep putting off tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. But we forget that when we get older, we might get weaker. We might not even be able to run down to the beach, dip our feet in the ocean. So it's so important that women over 50, if we're at like midlife, we already wasted half of it caring for other people. This second half, I believe we have to care for ourselves because we only have about half of it left, if that. Like they say, tomorrow is not promised to anyone. And it's true. And a lot of times when we keep putting off till tomorrow, one day, maybe God forbid, we're in a wheelchair or something and we can't run into the ocean like we wanted to. So I think it's really, really important to make your dreams happen now because we don't know if we're still going to be here tomorrow. And the older we get, the less likely we will have a tomorrow.
I
You know,
totally
it's
agree. I totally agree. And I think the thing that's important is it wasn't so much that we wasted the first 50 years. We were of service
yeah.
and that's important for what we've done with our lives. But now and I love how you say 50 is the half year mark, right? So now it's critical. I mean, we might have gotten away with it in our 20s and our 30s and maybe our 40s, where we push ourselves into the second place and don't take care of ourselves. But now it's time to start preparing our bodies for what we're going to feel like and look like in our 70s and our 80s and onward. So
And
this is the
could
moment.
I could I share one of my aha moments? Well,
Absolutely.
as a registered nurse for over 30 years and a nurse practitioner, when this pandemic started, I was running an ER. It wasn't even attached to a hospital, and I was the only provider. So we were minimal staff, probably triple the amount of patients, and I was in heart failure, okay? And I'm trying to run this facility, and that was one of my aha moments. I'm like, wait, I can't quit. I can't leave. There's no one else here who's going to take over for me. And then I thought, wait, this place survived way before I ever started working here. They had other people, and they'll have other people after me. But my vital organ, a heart is called a vital organ because it's vital to sustain life. My organ was failing, my vital organ. And when I was working there, my heart was getting worse and worse. And I'm like, wait a second, I am the nurse taking care of everyone else, and I have no one taking care of me. And I am putting my heart failure at the bottom of the list of my job. So that was kind of an eye-opening moment because thank God I'm not in heart failure anymore. But a lot of people that go into organ failure never come out of it. And I'm like, what if I stayed in organ failure? I would have never made that bucket list, you know? And now, thank God I'm not in heart failure anymore. Hopefully, I have a lot more years ahead of me. But it's important to know that life is precious, and at any moment we could get in an accident, have an organ fail, and it's important to act now, because if not now, when? It might never be.
Absolutely. And part of self-care, and we'll get into this in some more detail as we talk, but part of self-care is doing the things that you love, that you have
Mm.
passion for. It's not just about sleeping 8 hours a night or how many hours you need or drinking enough water. I mean, that's certainly part of it, but it's also about choosing yourself first, don't you
Yes.
think?
And that's something I'm guilty. I had never done that.
Well,
Um,
in all honesty, most of us haven't, right? We've spent our lives, again, in service to other people, our families, the people we love and we care for. And I think that's good. That's not a bad thing. I cherish the moments of being a mother and taking care of my two daughters. But now is my time. And
yes.
now I'm making sure that I'm going to be the most healthiest and fittest woman I can be as I evolve over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And self-care is how you do that, right?
Yes, yes, most definitely.
So, if you think about it, a lot of times what we think is that self-care is selfish. What would you say
Mm.
to a woman who says, I can't be selfish. There's so many people who still depend on me to take care of them and to help them and to support them. And I just feel it's too selfish for me to put myself first. What would you say to that woman?
Okay, as the nurse for over 30 years, I always told my patients' caregivers, put on your own oxygen mask first, because otherwise, like when that plane goes down, Lorene, if you don't put on your oxygen mask on first, then you pass out and you can't help your child, your significant other. So it is not selfless. It is not selfish. It is selfless. Because if you must do self-care, because if you don't reach for that oxygen mask for you, you're not surviving to help the other ones on board. So it is not selfish, it is selfless, and we must do it. You know, a lot of times the women, the caregiver always thinks I have to do 5 million things. But if that caregiver gets sick, they can't take care of those people. So we must retrain our brain and realize it's not selfish, it's selfless. If we don't take care of ourselves, then we're not healthy enough to really give our full to be the caregiver of the others.
Great points, I think. And I'm always reminded, someone told me this once, and as a nurse, you can tell me if this is true, but the heart is the one organ that gives blood to all other organs, but it
Yeah.
always feeds itself first.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I have not heard that one before, but I like it.
And it
It
and
is,
it reminds me of what you just said, that if it didn't feed itself first, it couldn't keep pumping blood to the other organs. So it's
yes,
very practical. Self-care is very practical.
yes. And I think not that long ago, I was on a conference of 100,000 ladies, and I was asked this question in front of the whole audience, which is 200,000 eyeballs on me. If you could talk to your younger self, what would you say? And guess what I said? I
I have
I
an idea,
said,
but I want you to tell me.
why the heck do you treat me so bad? Why do you treat everyone else better than me? I am worthy. I am deserving, if not even more so than those other people. You are such a great friend to everyone else but me.
Yeah.
And that was my aha moment. I'm like, wow, I am a great friend to everyone, but not myself. I am just as much worthy and deserving, if not more. So
Absolutely.
that really hit home. So I think the audience should really say, what would you tell your younger self?
I think that's a great question and maybe a good journal prompt, right? What message would you give your younger self, looking back about life in general, but also about who you are and who you've become? And I mean, a great conversation to have with yourself. I um, I am struck by the idea that really self-care is self-love,
Mm,
right? We we sometimes, I mean, I really think we struggle with loving ourselves. And as women, we're taught, well, it's by giving to others that you find love. And I'm loved because I'm a good mother and I take care of my daughters. I'm loved because I'm a great wife and I take care of my husband. Or, I'm loved because I'm a great manager and I take care of my people, whatever that is, right? And I think it's easy to start thinking, oh, to be loved means to care for other people. But really to love yourself is to take care of yourself too.
Well, I figured like this, if I was taking care of the world, all of my friends and family that I treasure, and we all take care of everyone else, then you're like, wait, is there someone taking care of me? Right? The only way we can depend on someone taking care of us is if we do it. I learned not to rely on anyone else because they're just not reliable.
Mhm. Although I will say I have a friend, and when I visit her, I feel like I'm in a five-star hotel. Like when I go to her house and we're just going to have tea and sit on the patio and look at the world go by, she treats me like I am the queen. And I really, it always surprises me in a very authentic and very genuine way. And I thought I don't treat myself like that at all. I mean, wow. I feel so special when I go to her house because she helps me to feel special. And I think having conversations with yourself that are gentle and kind and loving is
Yeah.
a way to start loving yourself and also caring for yourself. Um, my question to you would be, what are some other just little things, self-care habits that we could all do that would help us take care of ourselves and love ourselves more?
I'm all about doing the little things. A lot of us have bad habits we need to get rid of, but we can create little tiny good habits that all add up. For instance, I love doing a 4 minute happy dance. I figured it out. There's something like 1,440 minutes in a day, right? And we're always so busy. And I'm like, can't you afford out of 1,440 minutes a day, just four for yourself? Are you not worthy and deserving of a 4 minute happy dance? So I pick a happy song and I just dance. Happy Feet by Pharrell is 4 minutes and it's positive, it's upbeat, it helps you de-stress, it releases endorphins to feel good, it's a little weight bearing to keep your bones thick, burns a couple calories, maybe build a little muscle, stretch out. 4 minute happy dance a day. If you did that 7 days a week, that's another 28 minutes a week, which is a half hour of exercise. And in a year, that's 24 hours of extra exercise. So the
Wow.
tiny habits, we can replace tiny bad habits with tiny good habits. We're not saying go to the gym, spend an hour driving each way. A 4 minute happy dance. You are worthy, you are deserving of 4 minutes out of 1,440.
I love,
And
and now every time I think of you, I'm going to imagine you dancing to that song.
I do on some of my workshops, depending on the length of them, we actually do that for 4 minutes in the beginning while more people are coming on. And it's very fun. And I said during one of my workshops, hey, if you can't get up and dance, do whatever you're capable of. If it's just clapping your hands, waving them in the air, kicking your feet. And one of the ladies really appreciate that. She's a fellow nurse and she was watching from a nursing home. And she goes, you know what? That made me feel so good that I could do something, that I was still clapping along and participating, and you didn't leave me out. So 4 minute happy dance, or if you did 10 something a day, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats, 10 jumping jacks, that's 3,650 a year. Those tiny habits can really add up.
It's funny. I do squats. I do squats when my dog's going outside in the morning. So
Nice.
I just settle,
See?
stand on the patio while she's out there doing her business, and I do squats.
Yes. Or every time you grab another cup of tea or something, or another glass of water, you can do squats. Oh, and also, when they go to my website, they can get a daily dose of positivity. I send them another message every day for 30 days, and they can use them as screensavers for their phone or laptop.
Okay, well, we'll be
And
include in the show notes access to your website so that our readers, and our listeners, our watchers, and our listeners can take advantage of that. I actually signed up for that, and it was a very powerful experience for me. So yes, we'll do that.
yes, excellent. Yeah, everything's just right there, worldwellnessexpert.com. They can get a daily dose of positivity. They can sign up to get my newsletters with exclusive invites, freebies, special savings. They can get a copy of my book, or sign up for my workshops or my courses or my 90-day programs.
Sounds great. Hey, so when you think more about women and our age, many of us are going through major transitions. Some of us, I'm sorry to say, are going through a divorce. Some of us, happy to say, are going through
Congratulations.
retirement, or maybe they're not happy about going through
Oh,
retirement. We're empty nesting. We wake up and we have all these changes going on in our lives. Um, how do you think self-care plays a role in getting through those transitions?
oh, well, first of all, ladies, that's the time for you. Right now, you don't have to worry if you're getting divorced. I'd say congratulations. You don't have to worry about getting permission from the other half. Is it okay? Is it within the financial budget? Now that you're, my husband's looking at me. Now, now that your kids, you already put them through college, now you have that additional income that you would have spent on the kids because now they're often getting married for you. So now I think you have that money for you, that time for you. You don't need permission from the spouse. You don't have to worry about if the kid's going to be home or you have availability. This is you time. You don't have to ask permission or anything. It's just time for you to shine. You know, you spent the first half of your life on them. Now this second half is for you. They're shining, they're going to go off, get married, have a spouse to take care of them.
Yeah, we hope, right? Or not,
Yes,
as
yes, or not.
the case. I think that yes, it's most definitely, again, it's giving yourself permission to put yourself first. Uh,
Mm,
and I think, having gone through several transitions in my life, I would say learning to take care of yourself. This self-care becomes critical in these moments in our lives, but also
yes.
they're the times that we most likely won't do them because we're
Mm,
depressed, we're sad, we're
yeah,
stressed, we're distracted. We're concerned about the future and living in an uncertain moment as we go through a transition period. But again, give yourself that permission to use self-care strategies, but also
yes.
be disciplined about it because it's more critical, I think, when you are struggling to do self-care. It's always important, but the tendency is to stop when you're in crisis. I don't have time for
Mm,
that. I don't have the
I
energy, so I just
we
don't.
have to we have to realize when we look at that hierarchy of needs that we used to look at the pyramid with food, water, clothing.
Maslow?
We used to have to, yes, the Maslow. We used to have to know, like, listen, I'm not going to be able to fall in love, deal with my emotions unless I have the basic food, water, clothing first. But now, if we have that basic food, water, clothing, we can move on to the emotional step. And I think the self-care should be included in that food, water, and clothing because it is essential for life. It really needs to be there.
I agree. I do. And it's thought of traditionally, it has been thought of as a luxury, right?
No, it's a necessity. It really is. And I'd say this to the ladies, a lot of times we're very scared to move forward and get out of our comfort zone. This is what I know. This is what I've been doing 30, 40 years. This is what I trust. But what I found was for me when I was working in that ER setting, although it was scary to move forward and think of something different, what I found scarier was not moving forward and being in the same exact position in 10 years, 5 years, or even 1 year. So, ladies, when you're scared about moving forward, I think you should be more scared of not moving forward and being stagnant.
And so how do we get out of that stuck position, right? Because it's that it just goes on forever and ever and ever, and we don't think it's ever going to end, but we can't seem to have it to get ourselves up and out. How do we do that, Melissa?
Hmm.
Shayna.
That's,
Shayna. I'll do Melissa.
I
Shayna.
think, well, since you brought up that point, can I mention the name thing?
Please do. Please
Okay.
do.
So some people call me Melissa, some people call me Shayna. Long story short, my whole life I was Melissa. A few years ago, I went to renew my passport. I got my original birth certificate, and I'm actually Shayna Melissa. So hence, I like Shayna better. My grandma used to call me Shayna when I was little. And I figured people were like, when I was in kindergarten or first grade, there was three Melissas in our class, and the teacher escorted me outside and said, "Can I call you Missy?" And I said, "No." And to this day, in our 50s, the other girl is still called Missy. So I liked Shayna better. It was my birth name, it was my given name. I think instead of saying Melissa, which one? When you say Shayna, you probably don't know of another Shayna.
No, it's actually an unusual name for me, but it's just really weird that I want to call you Shayna, and it sounds like other people do too. We want to call you Melissa. Like it just
Yes.
comes out of our mouths. And so but what I love is this is an act of self-care. You chose the name that you most loved for yourself instead of
Yeah.
doing what everyone had done for you up until that moment in your life. when you realized you had a choice, you chose Shayna because that gave you joy.
I
So
want to be. Yes.
I, it's an act of self-love.
Ah, okay. I didn't think about it that way, but yes. And so I would say, how do they get the gusto to just jump the move? One is, yeah, when you look at it, do you, ladies, do you want to be in the same exact spot in 20 years from now, 10 years from now, even 1 year from now? The only way to get out of where you are is to do something different to get a different outcome. And I would encourage them on the website to just get my book because it's all about overcoming life obstacles, getting unstuck. You know, everybody in the book, myself and the other authors, we all wrote about a life obstacle we had, and we knew we didn't want to stay where we were. So, in order to get over that obstacle, we had to do something different. And if I could share with them this one thing, if you don't mind.
Please do.
Okay, okay, so I had, for those that don't know, I had all these autoimmune issues. And I had everything from hair thinning, gaining weight, waking up exhausted, unable to function, IBS, MS, and heart failure. And I looked at my 30 plus year career as a licensed healthcare pro and all of the other patients that had autoimmune disorders. And what I noticed, no matter which autoimmune disorder they had, and whichever doctor they went to, whichever medication, the job of those meds was to weaken their immune system so it wouldn't fight itself. So those patients were all sick more often because now they have a weak immune system. They're catching things, infectious, contagious diseases. They're getting more severe symptoms. They're lasting longer, their illnesses, and they're getting side effects from the meds, needing more meds. So when I got my own autoimmune, I did not want to do what they did because I would get that result. So I knew I had to do something different to get a different result. And that's what I want these ladies know. Although it was scary for me because all the doctors knew give this med, they didn't know the other ways. Although that traditional way was scary, what was scarier for me was doing that and getting that outcome. And I did not want that outcome, so I had to do something different. So I had to have the belief first that it's possible and then take consistent action and just never ever quit. So surround yourself with the most positive, altruistic team players. If there's other ladies out there over 50 that you know had their dreams come true and are following their passions, maybe surround yourself with those people.
So I heard several things. One is first find some friends that will support you, get
Definitely.
going. Secondly, start working on your own belief systems that you
Mm,
are worthy, that you are capable, that you deserve the future, the dream, the life that it is that you want. And then
yes.
from that, I think the next and the biggest, maybe the hardest piece is start taking action. No matter how small, start taking action. And I'm reminded of that when you were chatting and sharing your ideas that I used to be quite heavier than I am today and well over 200 pounds. And I decided I wanted to go to Machu Picchu with my youngest daughter, but I realized I wasn't very fit and I wasn't going to do well up at the altitude level that was there, plus needing to walk around. So I started walking. I walked 5 minutes every day. Then I walked 10 minutes. Then I walked
Yeah.
15 minutes. And I literally walked in the morning at 5 a.m. in my house. So
Yes.
no one saw me. I didn't have to go outside. I didn't have to have gear. I just put headphones on and I would walk. And every day I would walk another minute longer and another. And then eventually I got to where I lost weight and I'm now an avid hiker. I travel. So I'm fit, a lot more fit than I was then. But it was only because started walking 5 minutes a day, right?
Yes, you had the mindset, you had the belief that it was possible. Then you took the consistent action steps. And even like, ladies, if you can't do that 4 minute dance, that's okay. Start off with a minute and then build up the stamina, right? It's like anything, it's very important. So know that it's possible, you are worthy, you can do it. Start low, go slow, and just keep increasing it like Lorene did. And I don't know if you heard that story about the 4 minute mile.
Tell us.
There's this story. Okay, I'm going to tell you. So before this, nobody ran a 4 minute mile, right? Everybody thought it was impossible. Nobody did it. And then after like one person ran a 4 minute mile, other people realized it's possible. And then all these other people started running 4 minute miles. It's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, so we have to have the mindset, and that's where in my workshops and my 90-day program, I start with mindset that it is possible. Look, other people have done it. Why not you? Why not now? Very
Exactly.
important.
Okay.
It's that,
Well,
so yeah.
I was going to say, so to start wrapping things up for today, if you, Shayna, could give one piece of advice to a woman who's ready to step into her most vibrant and most empowered life, what would it be?
One piece of advice.
Yeah.
Okay, just one. Okay. I would say live life with no regrets. Think of something that you're going to regret and then just make sure you don't regret it.
Make sure it doesn't
Right?
happen, right?
Yes, yes. So if you think I'm going to regret if I never made it to Europe, then make sure you go to Europe.
I think that's great advice. Think about, yeah, how you want to end your life because inevitably none of us are getting out of here alive, as they say. You want to on your deathbed, on my deathbed, what is it that I want to have said I've accomplished and then go out and start doing those things? Exactly.
Yes.
Great. And what if women were interested in connecting with you after this call today? How might they do that?
Right. Okay. The easiest way is worldwellnessexpert.com. That's my main website, worldwellnessexpert.com. While you're there, you can click I want a daily dose of positivity, and I'll send it to you for free. You can also click get my newsletters with exclusive invites, special savings, freebies. While you're there, you might want to join my upcoming workshop, Reclaim Your Life. It's called Reclaim Your Life. It's geared for women that are suffering with symptoms, be it pain, low energy, hair thinning. Oftentimes they're autoimmune related. That's my area of expertise. So I have a free workshop coming up, Reclaim Your Life. I believe it's Thursday, 5/1, May 1st at 7 p.m. EST. So on my website, worldwellnessexpert.com, they can claim their free seat or their VIP seat. The VIP, they also get an extra hour of live Q&A, digital and printable blueprint to reclaim their life with all the notes, and a mini consult with me as well.
Perfect. And I will put all of that in the show notes as well. So you don't have to write it all down if you're driving in your car listening to this podcast. So check
Okay,
there,
well,
contact
yeah,
them.
so in addition, so they can get my newsletter, my daily dose of positivity. They can get my book while they're there. The ebook is like $9, Overcoming Life Obstacles at Reach #1 International. They can join the free workshop or the VIP version, Reclaim Your Life, May 1st, or they can book a private consultation, or they might want to also decide they need my 90-day Your Wellness Journey that takes them through everything they need. Because a lot of times there's so much overwhelm with what to do. The 90-day program gives you bite size throughout every week for 90 days with a lots of comes with 2 private consultations with myself one-on-one, as well as weekly recaps of the lessons they should have listened to and weekly Q&A sessions as well, where they get their questions answered every single week throughout. That's
Fantastic.
another option.
We'll have all those links in the show notes. Shayna, this has been a great conversation today. I want to just take a moment and say thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise. I hope for our listeners today that this episode has reminded you that self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and it's especially important in this time of our lives. Whether you're navigating big transitions or just simply looking to feel more energized and joyful, taking care of yourself, loving yourself is truly the first step. If you loved what Shayna had to share today and want to learn more, please check the show notes for her contact information. She has some incredible resources to help you prioritize your well being. And before you go, if this episode resonated with you today, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend who might need to hear the message in this podcast. Let's keep supporting each other on this journey to living unscripted and unstoppable. And until next time, take care of yourself because you matter.
Thank you very much for having me.